Rend. Slaughter. Devour your enemies. There is no other way to survive. You cannot escape your hunger. Warriors of Purgatory.
I've never seen anything of that nature. Harley is present. New recruits are always available, but a leader is irreplaceable. Remember that.
Warning to the Vanguards. Remove the unidentified object at coordinates 2314-5873. Failure to comply will be deemed an act of war.
Warning to the Embryon. Remove the unidentified object at coordinates 2314-5873. Failure to comply will be deemed an act of war.
What happened? Where are the vanguards?
My chest is on fire.
Leader!
Any thoughts? Strange. I feel like I have met this girl before. I want to know more about her. I'm sure you feel the same, Surf.
Heat, how is she?
Still sleeping.
She did not have a tag ring. Who could she be?
The woman is not our concern. The ramifications of the battle are unclear. What are these markings? Our priority is to clarify the situation.
I will go to the vanguards.
To the Vanguard's territory?
I will. They may have an answer for us. Surf and I will go. And one more. The rest will stay and guard the base.
I will go. I want an explanation.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga, one of my favorite RPGs of all time. And that was quite the intro there, was it not? You may be a little unclear on what's going on. This is definitely a game where you have to read the manual beforehand to exactly know what the premise is, but to give you the short version, we reside in a war-torn land known as the Junkyard, which is ruled over by 5 distinct tribes. Ours is the tribe Embryon, led by Surf, and as you can see, we've got Argilla here, who's not been feeling well since the strange events of that last battle. Over here we got Heat. And it looks like we want to go shake down Harley, the leader of the Vanguards, which was the tribe we were scuffling with. Even though we only had 5 people there, we managed to score a kill and otherwise end the battle in a stalemate, so pretty good for the Embryon in that battle. Embryon is a fairly small but incredibly skilled tribe. Now, why were we battling with another tribe? Well, the tribes of the Junkyard are trying to ascend to Nirvana, and the tribe that's going to do that is the one that takes over all the other tribes by subjugating their leaders. We'll meet the other tribes as we progress through the game. Otherwise, we've got Gale here. He's sort of the tactician of the Embryon. He makes the battle plans as well as just the general acquisition plans and coordinating everything. Bit of the smart guy. Over here is Cielo. Cielo! I'm not exactly sure what his position in the Embryon is. I guess he's just an incredibly skilled follower of Surf. Heat's definitely the muscle, and Argilla is a sniper. And we can take a look at our group here. As you can see, we've got our characters in the menu. Don't seem to have too many menu options at the moment. That's strange. Well, you know, we got our items, got a handful of rations here, got ammunition, of course, need to use our guns and actually load them with stuff to shoot things. Wonder how often that'll come up. Spoiler, not very often. As you can see, we got stats here. Special items is key items. Currently, the only one we have is the tag ring, which records our Maka. What's Maka? That's the currency of this game. I'm sorry to front load you with a lot of this stuff, but the game just kind of throws you into it and expects you to start running. Anyways, we are in the Embryon's home territory of Maladhara. Aside from our main 5 here, we've got various flunky members of the Embryon who just kind of hold down the fort, and I guess partake in larger scale battles. Otherwise, Surf just prefers to operate with his most skilled operatives. Sounds like treasure chests. And yes, there are various treasures scattered around Maladhara, so we're going to take a quick look around. Nothing in here, but it's the girl with the black hair. Seems to be asleep at the moment, however. Wonder if we'll learn any more about her. And yeah, that battle came to a bit of a strange conclusion. Light came out, the girl was revealed, and everybody seemed to turn to monsters, though our characters do not seem to be aware that happened at the moment. Over here we got our first treasure, a revival bead. Revival bead brings your characters back into the fight if they get knocked out, with 50% of their HP. Substantial improvement over the previous game in the series, Nocturne, where they brought your demons back with like 2 HP and it was impossible to use them to any effect in battle. Battles in Digital Devil Saga play out quite a bit differently from how they did in Nocturne due to a variety of changes, both in team building as well as just the general number of members we have on the field, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyways, first thing we got here is a vendor. Now, like I said, Maka is the currency, which is recorded via our tag ring, and the tag ring goes into these little vendor nodes like a key. Just pop it in. And we get one of the more random shoutouts to Matrix I've seen in media. I guess this isn't specifically to Matrix, but whenever I just see a rack of guns and ammo coming out, I just can't help but think the Matrix. Now, we're actually not going to buy too much here, because we won't really need too much of anything, but I'm going to buy 1 single shot shell. The reason for that will become apparent later. We're not going to put that on Surf, our main character, nor are we going to give it to our sniper, Argilla. No, we're going to give it to Heat, for a very particular reason. Like I said, that'll come up when it becomes relevant, but I want to get that right now. What do you got to say? Well, I just explained it, so no need to tell us. But yeah, a handful of these Embryon members, if you want to learn more about game mechanics, they will remind you, since Surf had a bout of amnesia, I guess, from getting hit on the head. Or perhaps they're just assuming that. Okay, here he's telling us about terminals. I'll explain the difference between large terminals and small terminals when it becomes relevant. As for large terminals, well, that's going to become relevant right now. Here is a large Karma terminal. Now, once again, get a little cutscene of Surf activating it. One funny thing about this one, you can skip most cutscenes in this game by pressing the start button, except this one. There's a handful of cutscenes in the game that cannot be skipped. That is because they have dialogue choices in the middle. But for whatever reason, when you activate the vendor and the terminal, even though that's not the case here, you cannot skip them. It's very strange. Also, the unskippable cutscenes tend to be rather long, so they're pretty annoying on repeat playthroughs, but we'll get there when we get there. Got a few different options at large Karma terminals. We can save our game, and terminals are the general hub to save your game. There's my personal file, where I've done quite a bit. We've got 10 different files. Just to make sure I don't do any over-saving shenanigans, I'm going to save this in file 3. A shiny new file for us to start enjoying this game with. And save successful. Other options we've got here. Teleport allows us to teleport to different large terminals within an area. This is not like the teleport option in Nocturne, which allowed us to teleport around to the different locations, and there's a fairly simplistic reason for that, which we'll be seeing shortly. The big difference between small Karma terminals and large Karma terminals is that small terminals can only teleport you back to a large terminal, but cannot teleport between each other, and likewise, a large terminal can only teleport you between large terminals. It cannot teleport you to small terminals. That made a bit more sense in Nocturne, but here it's just kind of an annoying artifact. The last option is Restore, which allows us to restore our HP and MP. And unlike Nocturne, where you could potentially run out of money and not be able to do that, that's basically never a concern, and digital Devil Saga, you will always have enough money to restore yourself on terminal unless you deliberately tank your finances to make it not the case. Now, this might seem strange since I didn't really do a Let's Play of that game except very long ago that I canceled due to technical issues, but because this game is the direct follow-up to Nocturne using a lot of the same mechanics and even some of the same assets, I'm going to be making a lot of references to it, and I'm going to kind of assume anybody watching this has either played Nocturne or perhaps, and this was just serendipitous because I was planning to Let's Play this game anyway, you may be interested in this game due to the recent HD remaster of Nocturne. Anyways, this is a little bonus area here that has some treasure for us. Don't have to come here. Soma Drop restores some HP and MP, pretty nice. We also got some Chakra Drops, which restore 50 MP. Unlike Nocturne, where they function like Life Stones and restore a percentage of your MP, in this game they just restore a flat 50. This makes them better early on, but worse later on, but that's kind of irrelevant for a multitude of reasons, which we'll see later. But we got this strange blue wall here. You know, my short-term memory failed me again, and I don't know if we actually talked to this guy, but this guy explains to you what the blue wall is. If only there was a way we could get past that. Well, I'm sure we'll find a way eventually. Heading out of here through Maladhara, if I can get down the stairs. Periodically, you'll find your party members standing around in areas, and they'll have different dialogue depending on what's going on in the story and where you are, and even just like the most recent events within the same area, or just the specific screen we're on can change their dialogue. But here they're just reaffirming what we already know. We want to go to the Vanguards and see just what the heck happened. Yeah, the tattoos are the most overt evidence of what the light did to us, but people acting strangely. Yeah, now that I think about it, Sarah has black hair, which is not too uncommon in our day-to-day life, but apparently is very uncommon in the junkyard, and yeah, everybody seems to have fantastic hair colors here. Of course we remember, and in case you can't tell, it is right up this elevator here. So, we're in the middle layer, let's just take a ride to the top layer. Alright, what do you got to say? And this guy can give you more information on the premise of the game. So, all the tribes want a war to ascend to Nirvana, though we don't quite know why they want to get there. Though based on the name, we can assume it's some kind of paradise, and you have to fight a lot to not fight a lot, I suppose. Yeah, the starting rations that we get are more than enough for supplies. We don't really need to buy anything before heading out. Alright, let's go. Now, before we head to the Vanguard's base in Svatistana, and you're gonna have to forgive me if I butcher a lot of these pronunciations. I'm afraid I'm not quite up to speed on my Hindi, so I may have some questionable pronunciations for some of these names. Apologies in advance, and for certain, if you could elucidate me on the actual way to say those names, I would appreciate it. Now, that was a random event, and this actually happens very rarely in the game, and I'm not sure what determines it, and it's honestly kind of silly, but sometimes when going to a new area, your party will get hungry for some reason, and that costs them a very small portion of their HP. As you can see, that's barely anything. Who cares? But we can find some Embryon here. This one gives us an extra 5 rations. Very nice. And this guy just, well, actually, let's hear about Nirvana. And it looks like they don't even really fight because they care so much about it being paradise. They just fight for it because that's what they're supposed to do. And, again, reaffirming the information. Though, yeah, it seems pretty clear that that black-haired girl is connected to the new tattoos that our characters have. PS2 Shin Megami Tensei games were very big on the characters having tattoos, I suppose. Now, with that little side bit out of here, there's nothing really in Ground Zero aside from those 5 rations, so you can ignore that area entirely.
Something is wrong. There are no guards.
That works. Let us go.
And with that fairly inconsequential cutscene, we are thrust back into gameplay. Looks like the Vanguards are slacking their outer defenses. What is fear? Looks like Heat doesn't really know either, but for whatever reason, just something is telling him they are afraid. Over here, we've got a vendor here, which sells much the same stuff as the vendor at Maladhara did. All the vendors have a universal inventory that slowly upgrades in response to something else we do in the game, as well as just general story progression, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Does not look like there's a terminal out here, but hey, another little treasure. And another Soma drop. Can never have enough of those, although it's very likely I'll not use them too often. I'll probably use my chakra drops, but Soma drops isn't kind of situational. And we've entered the Vanguard's base, and it seems they got their terminal right at the entrance. No cutscene of activating this one, and oh, what the heck, we can restore our lost HP here. But yeah, it's surprisingly deserted. Does not look like the Vanguards are milling around anywhere. Perhaps they're holed up in the center. Yeah, it seems Heat's theory that they're afraid is as good as any, although even though the word afraid does not seem to mean very much to our characters. In fact, they all seem rather stoic and unresponsive, or perhaps even unemotive. I wonder what the deal with that is. Looks like a little blocked off here, but we could throw this lever and that would drop that, but let's just explore around a little bit. Does not look like we are in any danger. Not any obvious danger, anyway. Over here we can find another treasure. Some more rations. I'd say we could never have enough of those, but I'm probably not going to use too many of them, actually. This will all become more apparent once we get into the meat of the game. And we got another one of these blue walls. And what do we got over here? Seems that the Vanguard's base has a very square layout. Now, if we had dropped this wall, we would not have been able to get across to get this treasure. More chakra drops. I'll probably need a few of these as we explore the Vanguard's base. Why? Well, there are magical things at foot, or at the very least, will be in the very near future. Alright, now let's throw this switch. Once we throw this switch, and after we've gotten those chakra drops, we never need to rethrow it. There is nothing else across that platform. So let's just drop it and go through the door. It's still nobody to be seen around here. Now there is our first small karma terminal. And at those, all you can do is save your game and teleport. Ooh, more chakra drops. You cannot use them to heal yourself. There are separate small recovery terminals that can be used for that purpose, but there is not one here. Not that we really need it anyway. And a revival bead. Alright, we're pretty set on supplies, so I think we're prepared for anything that could come up. What could come up, you say? Well, let's see here.
Don't come any closer. No. Stay back. Don't eat me. Please.
Harley, what are you saying?
You murdered them and ate them all. You all turned into monsters. And then you devoured all of my men. That light, that weird light, shot right through us. And then everyone started freaking the hell out.
Don't!
Everyone started attacking each other. You ripped them apart with your bare hands. And then...
Stop! Be quiet!
God help me!
Shut up! Couldn't have. No. Not me. I didn't do that. I didn't eat those people. I couldn't have. It wasn't me!
And with that, we are thrust into our very first battle. We are against some ghouls, and as you can see, we have turned into demons. Starting off here, the game is going to explain the turn system to us in this game. As you can see, we use the press turn system. Our turns are monitored by those icons in the top right, and when no icons remain, we cannot take any actions. We get one action per party member, so we got 3 icons up there. Fairly self-explanatory, right? Well, let's get into it. Let's start by casting an ice spell on this ghoul. Some nice damage there. As you can see, Heat has some physical skills here. He can use Mad Rush, which deals random number of hits to a random assortment of enemies, or he can hit slightly harder than his regular attack with Venom Claw, which can potentially poison an enemy. Let's give that a shot. Very nice, took him out. Argilla has a less fleshed out attacking set and more of a support set right now. She has Dia to heal our HP, Patra to heal mental ailments such as Charm, Sleep, and Panic. Actually, I think Sleep is a nerve type element, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. Or Analyze, which allows us to see the information on the enemy. But this is technically a boss fight, so we can't see the enemy's information. Yeah, Analyze kind of stinks like that. It's also going to be completely useless later, but that's something we'll see in when we get to it. But yeah, let's just have Heat do a regular punch. As you can see, Venom Claw is not that much stronger than him just punching the enemy. And Argilla, she'll whack it. Ooh. When you get a critical hit, you get a unique animation. Very nice. Very straightforward first battle, and we get a level up. Now, Surf levels up, and we get to distribute his stat points. This is a privilege of being the main character. Surf is the only character that gets to do this. Other characters, they have predefined percentages or percent chances of getting stat points in particular stats, and they follow those growths to a certain point. Or potentially they just have fixed stats that they're going to be at a given level. I haven't really played around with it, or rather, I haven't recorded it much. I've played this game like 4 or 5 times all the way through, but I've never paid much attention to how it really works or what specific stats characters are at given levels. The point is, Surf, we have free control, and to that end, I am going to be pumping up his magic. My build for Surf is going to be on the even levels, I'm going to put all his stat points into magic, and on the odd levels, I'm going to put 2 points into magic and 1 into vitality. Why am I doing that? Well, those are just the 2 best stats, and it allows me to make Surf really good at magic while letting him not be too fragile. The other stats, they are important, but not so much that I can't just deal with them later on in the game. And Strength is actually completely useless for Surf, because I just plan on having him use nothing but magic. That's my logic, that's why I'm doing this. Surf's body's overflowing with power, and hey! Very nice. That's lucky. When your body overflows with power, a bunch of random things can happen. Among the positive effects, your HP can be restored, your MP can be restored, both can be restored, or, and this is the best, you get a random stat point. This is basically like just getting 1/3 of a level up. Since we got both of these stats, and these are going to be my primary stats for Surf, magic increases your magic attack power, obviously, your magic defense power, which is pretty critical, and also gives you extra MP for each point that you put into it. So it's a very good investment.
What's happening to us? No, I can't eat them.
Why do you hesitate? Circumstances are different now. If you refuse to eat, you will perish like them.
Seems that Argilla has reservations about this new way of life that involves eating people, but Surf, and particularly Heat, are less hesitant about it. As the game says here, after you battle, you devour enemies, and you recover your HP slightly, which is the less interesting effect, and it's also very hard to notice. It's like, it's only like 2% of your HP that gets restored or something. And, let's see. Argilla still has her eye on the prize, but Heat? Yeah, he seems to really be down with the eating demonic people thing that has been thrust upon our group. Now, at this point, we've engaged in hostilities with the Vanguards, so we can get into random encounters now. And I'm just going to tell you right now, this game has an extraordinarily high encounter rate, so we are going to be getting into many, many fights along the way. And unlike Nocturne, we do not have a danger sense that tells us when we're getting close to an encounter, so you will get jumped pretty often, pretty randomly, and yeah. Hope you don't mind that too much, and this is definitely going to be intensive on editing later in the game, but for now, I'd say we've made decent progress, so let's make our save here. And when we come back, we will explore more of the Vanguard's base. I will reorganize my party slightly and explain why that is when we get there. And, well, more mechanic explanation, why I play the game the way I do, and how you can adapt my strategies to maybe help yourself get through the game if you ever try it on. This isn't a terribly difficult game, but it is one that helps to understand how it works and really put together a solid team composition to take on what it throws at you. But that shall be it for this video. I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, goodbye.